I talked to you last week about reigning, becoming your royal king, your royal queen. Anytime when we think of a king, we think of someone else or someone ruling over us or in the vicinity in which we live in. And we forget about the power that we have. Now we look to the king for answers. Well, how many know when it says, great is he that's in you than he that's in the world? Because the king that you have looked for too long, the president, the governor, the mayor, has always been where? In the world. So I want to talk to you this morning about reigning from within, taking your rightful place, so you can distinguish between when to talk to the outside king, but when the inside king should be ruling while you're talking to the outside king. Reigning from within is a prelim, because I want you to understand that we're in a position now that most people think that some people have said that we're trying to take black people backwards with this latest presidency and this administration. Can I tell you, this administration is trying to erase everything and anything that don't go along with it. Whether you're black or white, this administration is coming for you if you don't go along with them. So I want to talk to you about the power that you have as a people. And for so long, people don't understand that the power that they actually have collectively. And one of the people that suffers the most from this and not understanding this and working with this is black people. I've seen black people for a long time and whites, people as a whole make fun of the Mexicans and the Hispanics. They come, you see them 15 of them piled out of a little Volkswagen. But guess what? They got more money than all of y'all. They got more unity and more love and respect for their particular sect or ethical group than the ones that are laughing at them. They know more about unity. Just be honest now, we can learn something from the Latinos, the Mexicans. We can learn how they unify and stack their dollars together and build all these houses that most of us live in. And still, they go without. They don't go without. They're not begging or borrowing. Well, here it is. We're still fighting for civil rights, and Hispanics are here are making a life and buying up all the communities and neighborhoods. Can I get an amen? So now, let's look at this. Reigning from within. In Galatians chapter 4. In Galatians chapter 4, you will find Galatians chapter 4, verse 1. Pay real close to this. I went over this last week, but we'll go again. I'm in the wrong one. Okay. Excuse me. My tablet's not acting the way I want it. It's freezing for some reason. Galatians chapter 4. Verse 1. Now let's read along with this. It says, now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant. And that's from the King James Version. I'm going to read it from the Message Bible. It says, let me show you the implications of this. As long as the heir is a minor, he has no advantages over the slave. In other words, he's subject to all the things the slave is, because only mature people should be in leadership and can actually acquire the things that are left for them. How do we know this? Let's look at life today. There are so many things that you have as a person and as a spiritual person, but many of us have never tapped into our spiritual side to be able to see how we're actually despondent in our physical side. Loss of understanding says that I have not tapped into the spiritual side, which will teach me, so therefore I will be learned. Because the scripture says that whenever the student is ready to be taught, the teacher, what? Shows up. So whenever you're able to move, ready to move from this place of not having enough, there'll be a teacher that rises up inside of you that shows you how to move across the rugged ground called life. But because we don't understand that we are yet more spiritual than we are physical, then we always hold on to what we see, even though we don't understand what we see. We don't think there's another answer, so we sometimes lose our minds and try to create something that is nothing, and we try to create it from the metaphysical rather than operating in the spiritual to understand what we see in the metaphysical. Because it is the spirit that makes a man free, not the physical. Most of us are bound by what we eat, smell, taste, and hear. We're not bound to have power over that. But although we have power over that, it tells me that we are unlearned. It tells me that we're still immature. See? And it says that, Galatians 4, verse 1, it says that though you're an heir, you still have access. You still have what God has intended for you. You cannot access it. Tell me, is that not hard to know that you got money in the bank but can't access it, and you walking around like a vagabond? Tell me, is that not very hard and detestable that you know you have something but you can't get it until you have come to a certain age? Tell me that your parents have maybe left you an inheritance, but you cannot access that inheritance until you come to a certain age or until certain things happen in your life. But yet you're struggling and without. Tell me that's not a problem. See, the word mature simply means proficient. Experienced. The word experience simply means knowledgeable and skills gained through life experiences. Now, immature says that life experiences, you're still repeating the same thing. And you notice I didn't say age. But maturity says sometimes I ain't got to go through it because spiritually I discerned it and made a U-turn. And some of us got to go into it, even though we saw our parents go into it. We still go into it because guess what? That's my problem. It's my decision. I could do what I want. But understanding the problem that comes behind after you go into that rabbit hole that you saw your parents and your ancestors go into, and you go into the same thing and get double the results of negativity that they did. Not to mention, you now have children that go right behind your footsteps. It tells me that you are a parent that was immature and you raised immature children. Therefore, you could not inherit the things that God intended for you because you are heirs to the earth. Might I mind you, you're heirs to the earth. You're heirs to the air. You're heirs to everything that causes you to live right, that causes your body to flow and function right. You're heirs to that. But because of your immaturity, we destroy our bodies before God has designed us to leave the earth. So sometimes we die way before our time with cancer, with all types of diseases and dis-ease through our lives. The next word is wise. The word wise for a mature person suggests a deep understanding and a judgment, knowing how to judge the times. See, to reign from within, it says that I know some stuff, but I ain't gonna say some stuff. I know some things, so therefore I won't experience some things. I know how to abound, and I know how to win the base. I know how to move, and I know how to stop. I know not to go over there, because when I hear the sound of trouble, I won't run to it. unless I have an answer. But many of us today's time, we take our cameras and we run just like this to trouble. Not to stop it, but just to air it out. Not to be a help, but to be a hindrance. We want the world to know that I'm a part of trouble, but I don't have an answer, so I'm just going to show the world. We watch people die, and we sit back and we film it. We watch girls belittle themselves, and we sit back and we film it. We watch men abuse their own lives, and we sit back and we film it. Somebody say, I got to grow up. See, to reign from within, you got to understand, in order to be experienced and wise, it's some stuff that has to happen in your life. It's some things that you got to display in your life that shows you above the nonsense. Rather than filming, I'll find a way to stop it. I'll find out why did it happen. Why are we at the point where we are, and why we're not farther than where we are. Sophisticated a process of maturity says that you're refined and cultivated in your personality, often associated with worldly knowledge and good taste, though. But you now have learned how to not do things the way you used to. When you used to eat with your fingers, now you eat with a knife and a fork. When you used to just talk with now you kind of wait till you finish your food and you talk just a little bit. Or you say, just a moment, please allow me to finish it. Or now you even covered, can I, just a moment. See, sophistication is something that you develop over time when you want to increase. Somebody say, I gotta want to. I just told Noah, son, you look too old to be still not knowing how to tie that shoe where it won't come untied this morning. He said, but I said, don't but me, don't excuse, just figure out a way. Because you do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. Noah knows how to play the games better than I do. He knows how to operate the computer better than I do. And I've been in the world a lot longer than him. I'm 56 and he's only 13. Somebody tell me he wanted to know the computer. So I know if he wants to know the computer and he's a violin specialist and he's only been on the violin 3 years and I've been here way longer than him, it's because somebody said he wanted to. See, maturity, it comes to a place of when you want to move forward, something inside of you shows you how. Likewise, when you don't want to move forward, something inside of you shows you how not to. We got excuses galore. I mentioned something to my daughter this morning, and she gave me a feedback with something else. She said, but I know that don't matter. I'm like, so why'd you even say it? What am I saying, guys? In order to reign from within, it has to be a choice for you to reign from within. You have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired and know that the only way I'll stop being sick is I got to make myself well. I'm the one that has to make myself well. If I hate something in order to begin to love somebody, I'm the one that chose to hate. Now I've got to unchoose the hate to receive the love, to be able to express love. It's folks that hated me without a cause. And I said, that's your problem, not mine. Well, I want to talk to you about it. I said, why should you? There's nothing I can do about it. You chose hate. You got to unchoose it. Let's make this conversation. What do you want to say? And then when I talked to them, and what they wanted to say, they recognized you're right. But you did. I said, but wait a minute. Regardless of what I've done, you still chose your own emotions behind what I've done. Likewise, me the same. I don't hate you. You're not my enemy. So if I become your enemy, it's by your own choice. If we're standing here now and I look at trying to be refined or restructure your life, I don't want you to restructure your life, just structure it. So you're trying to restructure your life, it means that your life was already structured then. But if you're living out of what you were, then it tells me that what you have structured, you need to tear it down. Don't redo it. Just do something different. Refined means highlights gentle manner and often intellectual interests. to refine someone's thinking. That's another place of maturity. Because see, it's some stuff, I'm going somewhere with you. It's some stuff that you'll never receive until you become experienced with life. There's some things that's waiting for you, that's laying in your spirit, in your mind, that you're supposed to be, should be doing right now. But because of what you're doing, you can't do the other. Some of this leads right into the next phase of your life. But until you finish this phase, you can't go to the other one. There's some stuff that you're still holding on to, and you want better, but you won't do better. Now you blame the person you're with. You blame mom and daddy. You blame the school. You blame the government. You blame whoever you can other than blaming yourself. In order to reign from within, it has nothing to do with outside interference. You hear what I said? Outside interference. In other words, if it's outside, it's got to come in. And the only way it can come in is if you allow it to. It's some stuff that's going to happen out there that you can't control. But I promise you, if you hold on to you, you'll control anything that comes your way. How you respond to it. You won't stop it from happening out there most of the time, but you can stop it from somebody saying, from happening right here. This is my kingdom. This is why I need to reign first before I try to reign out there. See, some things that's coming down the pipe that many of us ain't going to be able to handle. Because why? We ain't dealt with what's in here. There's some things where the government is doing some stuff. There's some people that's going to reject you because of the government doing some stuff, because of white supremacy, because they can, because they're hateful, because they have no love, because they have no compassion. It's some folk going to do some stuff to you. It's folk going to say some stuff, but if you ain't managed here, you won't be able to take what's coming from out there. In order to reign from within, you've got to do something within. See, the structure that is, my mind is stable. Somebody say I'm stable. I hadn't lost my mind. I ain't about to lose my, although it seems like I'm wondering sometimes, but I still know where I'm going. Sooner or later, I'm going to figure it out that I know. You hear what I'm saying? Somebody said, I still know where I'm going, and sooner or later, I'm going to figure it out. And just because you don't think I know where I'm going, because you won't go with me, because you cast me away. See, cast your cares upon people that care for you. Cast your cares upon people that talk about you. Cast your cares upon people that may come and support you. Cast your cares on people that may show up every night. Cast your cares upon people that laugh about you. Cast your cares upon people that talk about you. So you cast your cares in places that only bring you down. So you cast your cares in every place but the right place. See, you cast your cares upon their God, his God. See, God is an individual God with everybody, but you now trying to cast your cares upon how he related to God, or how she worshiped God, or how she prayed to God. You trying to do what he did, and you ain't never yet figured out what you got to do. That's what I'm talking about. See, it works for who? Somebody say it works for me. See, because you do it this way, and the Protestants did it that way, the Catholics did it this way, the Jehovah's Witnesses did it this way, and every one of them can't stand the other one. But now you want to go with one of them. But the real God found a way to love everybody. He found a way to squash the division. He found a way to bring the world together, and they killed him for it. So unless you're ready to die, you'll keep serving one of those worldly gods. You'll never serve the God of the Spirit of the living God. Neither can you operate in the Spirit of the living God, because you're always worried about what people will say about you. You're worried about whether you're going to please somebody, or they're going to look at you as a castaway or a throwaway, or you lost your mind. I know folks thought I lost my mind years ago when I started teaching some of the things that I teach, but guess what? I'm still free. I'm still standing. I haven't fallen yet. Guess what? There's no false accusation of me with other folks or taking things from folk. All that I have, we have given. And all that we have, we worked for it. And those that have wanted to come along with us were able to at their own expenses. Never as coercion as if God's going to bless you because you came, or you got to sow a seed in order for this to happen, or this is good ground for you to sow into. We came as if whatever you position your mind to do, then follow whatever the Spirit is leading you to do. Because if I got a God, you got a God, and we both serving the same God, He going to speak to you as He desires to, and what's your place in what I'm doing. No manipulation. Somebody said, I'm going to grow up. No manipulation. The problem is, the next part of maturity is somebody says seasoned. Seasoned denotes that it's an undergone trial. Someone has undergone trials and tribulations. As a result, you emerge wiser and more resilient because you've undergone some stuff. See, I don't want that experience. But now, these women that have had babies, they could tell some other young women about some babies and how they need to carry themselves until the first, second, third, and first, second, and third trimester, until up to the point of birth. I ain't had that experience, so I ain't seasoned in that. I ain't trying to be seasoned in that. I can't be, somebody say, you can't be seasoned in that, y'all. You ain't designed for that. You get what I'm saying? I'm mature enough to understand that I ain't designed to try to speak to a woman about birth because I ain't never given birth. You understand what I'm saying? I'm seasoned and wise enough to know, to understand my place ain't in a woman's womb. So why do we have legislators that ain't never had a baby trying to speak to a woman's womb? And we got a couple of them that's legislators ain't never touched a woman's womb other than coming out of one. I just had to throw that one in there. Now we're here. He says, let me show you this implication. See, though legally, you have access to this is yours. How many times have you heard of people that had legally owned property, but somehow the government swindled them out of it? Because they were immature, did not know how to keep their land or to fight the government, because the laws that they changed it to swindle the laws so much that they could swindle people out of their property, take things from folk. Likewise, I'm trying to tell you this morning, unless you become spiritually, a spiritual attorney speaks to you from within, it's some stuff you ain't gonna never obtain that's already yours. It's some things that you have to garner yourself and put yourself in the right place. Right now, I feel the burden of so many people that don't know how life's going to end because of their Social Security being threatened. Millions of people have lost their jobs because of what this administration has done. At the end of March, less than 100 days, Donald Trump was sworn in January. January 20th, to be exact. January, February, March. Less than 60 days, he had already spent $26 million. Cost the American people $26 million in less than 60 days and going golfing. With security and traveling expenses, he had already cost the American people $26 million in less than 60 days. Now imagine in the next 100 days, do the numbers. You can math. But yet they're trying to save America money, as they so well claim. They're at the expense of people who have helped America to build it to what it is. They are now stealing and taking America from you if you don't stand up. But unless you are, watch this, experienced, wise, sophisticated, refined, and a seasoned person, you will see how your life is being sold out from under you, how your children's life is being stolen from you, how your great-grandchildren will not have a future, how your great-great-grandchildren will only live as peasants if you don't do something now, because we failed to grow up and mature in a season when it's time for us to grow. See, the part about reigning from within is you understand that life just don't start and begin right now. We're just catching on to life right now. But life been lifing ever since life came into the world. Way before you ever came out of the womb, life was lifing, and life will continue to life. But unless you mature up and grow up, you'll still think the world owes you something. Rather than you. Your part to play in the world is to be the change that the world needs to see. He'll ask you, what did you do with what I gave you? What did you give me? I did all I could do. I gave you understanding, but you said, but they told me they didn't like my understanding. So I didn't share my understanding with them. But he may ask you, but I gave it to who? You. But it wasn't a good time. Who says it wasn't a good time? But I thought because he told me not to speak that I wasn't supposed to speak. He said, but I gave you the voice. Are y'all hearing me? It's some stuff that you need to be doing, but you're now held back. And watch this, you choose to hold yourself back because of you giving more credence to the powers on the outside of you than the power that lives where? It's some stuff that you're supposed to be saying and doing. But because of what would happen from the outside, you removed yourself from the equation. There's some stuff you're supposed to say. There's some times you're supposed to stood up. There's some time that you're now going to have to stand up. And if you listen to the powers from the outside of you, you listen to the fear mongers and the hate mongers, there's some things that you won't do and some things will go undone, which will cause a catastrophe for the rest of their lives. What am I saying here? Though you be heirs and have access and have the rightful authority to be great, you won't meet your greatness, not to mention your children. Let me tell you this. Let me ask you something. What's the best example for your children to see? You to tell them about them becoming millionaires? Or you to tell them how to love folks? Or them seeing you a millionaire? Or them seeing you loving folks when it's impossible to love folk? What's the best example for them to see? Is it not better for them to see a word in action rather than for you to tell them the word? So I'm asking you, I'm challenging you, and I'm calling deep inside of you. You got to do something different. I do what I do, and I challenge my children and anybody that's connected to me. They say, man, we don't see how you do it. I said, you know what? I'm not looking to see how I do it. I'm only hearing to get instruction on how I'm to do it. You hear what I'm saying? How many of you are willing to obey the voice that you hear from within that speaks truth to you, rather than listen to all those thousands of voices from the outside that I call them demonic? Now that's demonic, but the most demonic thing is, watch this, it's not for them to speak, it's for you to listen. The greatest problem is not for them to speak. It's for you to hear and listen to what they're saying. And when you already heard from within, that ain't what you're supposed to be hearing. It takes a person that's mature enough, though you be heirs to this, you can't inherit this until you learn how to move from within and shut down the voices that you hear from outside, because they're casting down on you. They're casting fear to you. They're about to castigate you and behead you. But you said, still, I heard a voice tell me, you're going to live. But you say, I don't see it because I see the mob. But guess what? You didn't see the mob that was coming because you were watching this mob. There's some weight behind you, ready for you to open the door with your yes to the voice that you hear. See, there's some folks waiting for you to say yes. There's some folks waiting for you to mature, that you become so sophisticated that say, I don't listen to trash like this. It's some stuff that wants you to say, I'm so wise, not that you're going to speak it, but that you're actually going to show, wait a minute, I ain't going to kill the baby. I'm going to give it to the one woman that said, let the baby live. Because if you was the mother of the child, you would have never agreed for me to cut the child down to half and give both of us part of it. The real mother going to say, look here, take the baby and give it to her. Don't kill the child. See, that's some wisdom. Some folks will understand that the power that's in you is greater than the power that you're trying to hear from outside of you to get direction when you already have the teacher where? See, mature people they don't look for outside help all the time. Why? Because they got a voice that speaks to them. Because when the student is ready, the teacher what? Shows up. I didn't understand that for a long time. But when I finally understood, watch this now, it's going to cut you off. When you start following the teacher from within, you ain't going to have to restructure because it's going to give you a whole new structure. It won't use the old. It'll just give you something totally new. When I began to hear, wait a minute, I heard that, but I didn't understand it. When the student is ready, the teacher, I thought it was somebody else going to come and teach me. But when I understood, Charles, you have the greatest teacher within you. It formed you in the womb. It placed your brain inside of your skull. It gave you eyes, and it gave you vision. It gave you sight. It gave you sight. Get that? It didn't give you vision. You didn't get vision through your eyes. You got sight. The brain tells you what you see. It allowed me to see. It formed every part of me. When I recognized the teacher formed me in a way that I'm supposed to operate where? In this three-dimensional world. How I'm supposed to correspond with foolishness. How I'm supposed to elevate and change foolishness into righteous thinking. Likewise, it did you the same way. When you don't feel that you know what you should know, it's because you haven't depended on the voice that put in. When you feel it's because you've looked outside when you've always been one way to go another way. It's hard. Have you ever seen an animal that leaves the pack and goes out, a dog goes out away from the pack and he comes back to the pack after being around other animals? Those dogs, when he come back to the pack, he's got to either cower himself down and they got to readjust to the new smell, or they will jump on him and kill him because of the smell that he's bringing back to the pack. That animal could lose his life or suffer harm. Likewise, it's the same with us as humans. When we have now tasted of the goodness and try to go back, it's as if we went back to our own slop, and it tastes even more terrible than it was the first time when we left. But in order to reign from within, you have got to now shut down the voices that you continue to hear from outwardly. You've got to now do something you've never done, and it's going to be scary. I'm going to tell you, it's like a horror movie to now trust from within. It's like a horror movie. When you try now to learn to trust from within, but yet you've always had somebody that's speaking to you in your ear. You've always had somebody praying over you. You've always had somebody you could call. You've always been able to look in the Bible and find confidence from Paul or one of his epistles. Or been able to look at Timothy and find confidence. But now Timothy or Paul couldn't even change the situation you're in. But now you've got to look from within. Because there's some stuff that Timothy and Paul ain't been able to answer. They ain't been able to change. There's some stuff that Amos and Obadiah ain't had no answer for. There's some stuff Jeremiah hadn't helped you yet with. There's some stuff Elijah hadn't given you. Elisha hadn't given you. There's some stuff that can't nobody give you but the voice that you're hearing all the time within you that you've learned to ignore. You hear what I said? You've learned to ignore it. But because of how much he loves you, because of how you don't even know that you're his and not yours. How you don't even know that you're a spirit that's in a body. How is it that it's still called the body, human body, but there's no life in it? You ever seen a dead body? That's a human body there. But there's no life in there. They said the body's what? Dead. So what animates the body? Somebody said it's my spirit. Somebody said my spirit. He says, my last thing, I'm getting ready to close. He says, though legally he owns the entire inheritance, he is subject to tutors and administrators until whatever date the father has set for emancipation. That's the way it is with us. Emancipation means that I'm going to change from being in bondage to be where? Free. But can I tell you something? You need to prepare for freedom. Because how many children have left home and wish they went back? How many left home and couldn't handle it out there and came back? But yet their rebellious attitude was still with them when they came back in the house. Some of them, for whatever reason, bowed down and said, Mom, Dad, I was wrong. I'm sorry. You were right. I owe y'all an apology. Can I stay here just a little longer and get some more, and then I get back on my feet? And some parents will say, yes, come on in. But then there's some kids that come back, well, you my parent, you're supposed to let me back in. Wait a minute. That's why you got kicked out the first time. Your rebellious attitude, you were immature. Somebody said I was immature. See, maturity should have helped you when you was out there all flat on your face. And your light sitting in the dark and got kicked out of the place you were in because you wouldn't pay bills when your parents were trying to teach you something. Now, you should have matured then, but you came back with that same mentality and now expecting them to go and break the window because nobody was at home to give you a key. You done broke the window. Well, I'm going to fix the door. I'm going to fix the window. I got the money. But you had no business. You still ain't understood. You had no business breaking in the house. But because you're immature, see, though you are inherit, in fact, not to mention that if the parents were to pass away, they would leave their inheritance to their children. How many children do you know that once their parents died and they left their inheritance to them, the inheritance went away in less than 6 months? Some of them less than 2 months. Spent all the money, sold the house went in foreclosure, sold the house, didn't pay the tax on the house, and they end up without what their parents had worked so hard for because the kids were still what somebody say immature. Though you were heirs to it, you weren't mature enough yet to move it or to inherit it. So therefore, you're nothing more than somebody say a slave. And what that child was done, because of how old they were, they would now have to stay with someone else or stay in a nursing home or now go and live with another woman or live with another man. Why? Because they were still immature. And so many people have died in that way, never learned how to reign from within. We're facing some stuff now. Unless you learn how to reign from within, you won't see how it's coming at you. You won't see your responsibility in this. You won't see how you're supposed to now stand and prepare your family and your children. You won't see how what's on Amazon that you don't need to be buying right now. You won't see it. You won't see how you don't need to be taking a trip now out to Las Vegas or down in California or down in New York. You don't see how you need to save that $2,500 or $1,500 because it's something coming down the pipe that you're going to need that for. But immature people, they only see right now. But mature people, they have a vision that casts so greatly that wherever they are, they're maintaining. They know how to survive and they know how to pull things together. My last statement, this and I'm closing. I've come down the gauntlet to say the greatest part of being mature is to be proficient. Masterly, grown, and fully developed. You know how to master things. You hear what I'm saying? You know how to master finances. You know how to master broken hearts. You know how to master people lying on you, lying to you. You know how to master when even your children don't seem to care. Because I'm going to tell you what your children care. Your children care about what you teach them to care about. Hear what I'm saying? So if you spoil your children all their lives, and now you need them, and they don't show up, it's because you taught them how not to show up. You taught them how not to show up. You taught them to get everything that they want. And if they ain't getting it, guess what? They going to find it some kind of way. But you need help. But they won't show up because they are too busy what? Getting what they want. Because you taught them they should be able to have everything they want without loving and caring for the people who care for them. I can say this because I run into this all the time. I see folks doing this all the time. I run into it where I got to now reteach their children as their children or adults. I've got to take a 5 to 15 minute, sometimes 45-minute session with their grown boys, grown men that are boys, or with their grown girls that are women and got 4 children and got 2 baby daddies over here because they did. This is what I'm saying. Am I saying that because every woman doesn't have the same dad, they was immature? No. I'm saying that when you won't take care of your own children, there's a reason why. My mother, we had 4 different daddies in our family. But when I came about, I recognized how mature my mother was. Y'all see what I'm saying? I recognized how mature she was. She made decisions as she went along. But when it got down to us and mothering out her children, she never missed a beat. She never missed a beat. You want to talk about hard work? I learned hard work from my mother and my father. They were an example of how to go and work and prepare and take care of your family with the simplest things. So no, I'm not saying that when women have multiple baby daddies that they're immature, that they have failed. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this here. Is that when they fail to take care of those children, because those baby daddies won't show up, that's a problem. Because see, I understand that the woman was with the men possibly because they thought the men were going to be great. 2 of the men that my mother was with died. One of them was killed. So she continued to meet my father and had all the rest of them children behind her, the whole basketball team and part of the football team behind the mother first 4 she had. But she never missed a beat at being mama. Providing, cooking, going to work, working 2 or 3 jobs. After she done birthed out 15 children, she's still working. You can't get folks today after they have 3 or 4. They think the government somebody else gonna help them. But there's one thing that she always said. She said, baby, it ain't that God has the last word. God gave you the last, will you speak? I remember that. She said, yes, people say God has the last word. She said, but God will give you the last word. Just make sure you say what he says. I need you to understand, in order to reign from within, you've got to take, somebody said, responsibility for everything. I don't care if you made a decision over here that was screwed up. That'll help you later on to be what? Somebody said seasoned. That comes through experiencing stuff. But you shouldn't keep experiencing the same thing over and over again. It tells me then you're 50, but you're still as a kid and you can't inherit the things that God wants for you. You're not seasoned. You're not refined. You haven't become wise. How do I know you're not becoming wise? Because you're still repeating some of the same things that got you there. You haven't changed your MO. You can't be elegant unless you're an elegant liar. And that's easy to figure out an elegant liar because you look behind them, you don't see nothing of what they said. In my closing, if you will understand this last statement, in the 4th verse of Galatians, it goes just like this in the King James Version. It says, but when the fullness of time has come, how many fullness of times have you had in your life? You know it was time for you to change, but you refused to, but it came again. See, some people think there's only one time. I want to tell you today, there comes a time when this stuff is time to be over. And you'll get afraid to say, yes, I want it to change, but I still want this too. See, that's the fullness. Somebody said that's the fullness of time. Time has completed itself. It's time for changing, and now change is upon you. You can change, but some of us revert back and say, I just can't, God, because I'm going to have to give up this. But you go right back into doing the same things because you refuse to what? Move forward. You refuse to reign. It said, when the fullness of time comes, it said, God sent his son. Your fullness of time may be today, may be tomorrow, may have been yesterday. But because you reverted back, you would begin to eat up the vomit again and went back to the same old stuff you were in. Now it's even harder for you to get out. I used to tell Mama all the time, why do you keep going back to Dad? I'm sick of this. You saw what he'd do, and every time we go back, he'd do the what? The same thing. So one day, Mama said, no. She didn't go back. That's when Daddy stopped doing what he was doing. You get me? She changed herself, which helped him change. When you go change so you can help the rest of the world to change. So you got some power and some authority. You got some get right stuff. You got some stuff that'll make the whole world change. But unless you do it, I'm done. Father, I thank you for everybody that's heard me this morning. As they search themselves and shut down the voices from without and only listen to the voice within. It doesn't happen overnight, but it'll happen in an instant. It may not do it right now, but it'll do it. I promise you, it'll happen. It'll transition. You will transform. You don't have to redo it, just do it. You trying to restructure your life? No, just leave that structure alone. Don't even try to work on that no more. Just do another thing. Just do another thing. Can I help you? Just do something different. Don't try to restructure it. Don't try to clean it up. Just do something different. Just do something different. Don't try to make excuses or figure out what you got to do. Just do it. Just do something different. Father, for those that hear me, I know your grace is upon them. It's multiplied. It's doubled. It's tripled. It's more than enough for them to fulfill and to accomplish, God, and to reign from within, because you created us to reign. You created us to be able to sustain through the storm and through the rain. God, you created us this way. We're built for this life. Not life is built for us. We're built for this life, and that we now affect changes in life that affect others. We thank you for the strength that you've given all of us, for the insight and oversight. I thank you, God, as we rebuke ourselves, not others, but we rebuke ourselves that have rejected you for so long, and the power that's in all of us. I thank you, and I give you honor and praise. Amen and amen. For those of you that put us through Facebook, we thank you. Guys, I promise you, I see some stuff Facebook is doing. They're starting to block some of the things that you put out. They can give you all the propaganda in the world, so they're actually controlling your speech. I promise you, I'm going to find an app. If I even have to create an app, and I have the wisdom and understanding to create an app. If I have to create one myself and create one, I'm going to do it. Well, we can speak the truth. We can speak without being censored. We can speak what we feel is the truth. Right now, we're only hearing what they allow us to tell us is the truth. So I promise you, I'm going to, in the coming days, the months, whatever, it's going to be a time you won't see me on Facebook anymore. I'm going to get away from it. Many of us, it's hard for us to wean off of something, to do something different. But I promise you, I'm going to be getting off of Facebook. So when days you don't see me on Facebook and you don't see me anymore, there is because I've left Facebook. I will find an app that will allow us to speak freely. Vineyard, StreamYard. But I thank you for joining us. Those of you that continue to help us financially, we are grateful for you that continue to pray with us. Do me a favor, like this video and share it, because we believe wholeheartedly that the love of God can only go forward only through people that love life and respect life in others. We thank you so much for sharing. We thank you for committing. Those of you who like the Cash App, $ capital L, lowercase IFE, CULTURE. Life Culture is all one word. We thank you so much for what we're doing here and how you've helped us and how you've been consistently being with us. We thank you so much for watching and sharing. God bless in always. Godspeed. You're the greatest. Is there anybody in the house here that would like prayers? If so, raise your hand. I'd like for you to continue to walk in your own blessings. Thank you so much, Dr. Pritchard. I see you back there. For those of you that would